All right, great. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yes, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. This is an amazing film. It's a film that needs to be told. I look at, a lot of your other films, and you always direct very strong women in your films. So if you could tell me a little bit on how you feel like why that's so important, these stories, these women-driven stories.
Yeah, I guess there's just so much that hasn't been told and that doesn't get its way, onto the big or the small screen. And particularly, at a time now during the pandemic when there are so many people behind closed doors. We don't know what's happening to them. We know that statistics of domestic abuse are very, very high all over the world. So it's
Yeah,
important that story gets told. But of course, this is not the story of what happens. It is in part, but it's really what happens once you break out from those closed doors. And Claire, I think one of the things that really sort of drew me to this, we've read and seen stories of domestic violence, but I hadn't really read a script where the writer's actually talking directly to these women and saying, if you do make that break,
right.
maybe there's hope, maybe there's a community out there for you. And we spoke to somebody from Women's Aid in Ireland who said to us, do not make this central character a victim, because these women
Right.
are, they are heroes. They have so much courage to stay, courage to leave. And I think that's one of the things that really struck me about the story, that she is so much the kind of agent of her own change and recovery. And that, was inspiring.
Yeah, and there's a moment where Sandra looks up, and then she chooses to join her daughters. Can you just give me some insight into that moment? It's incredible.
Some ways she has made her children, she has helped her children to have this kind of indomitable spirit, and that's so much what it's about. It's not just the woman, it's the woman as mother wanting to make a future for her children, and then in the end seeing them kind of reply to her with their own kind of ingenuity, indomitable, unperturbed by, and yet we know it's not just, a couple of kids who don't notice what's going on, because we know we've seen them really suffering. They've learned from their mother this kind of energy and have this positive spirit communicated. And I think that sense that maybe this cycle of violence is being broken in the story. I think that's what's really fundamental to it, because we can see that the cycle of abuse goes down through generation to generation. And here we're seeing it, like, you know, as the mother-in-law says to her at the end, you're free now.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Yeah. And do you feel like perspectives on what's your perspective on women directing films in Hollywood? Do you feel like it's genuine change? You're seeing a lot of these women-driven stories where, I mean, all the women in this film drive the story. And then also behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was reading about the number of movies opening directed by women over this Christmas winter season, and I was like going day after day and seeing, oh, another one, another one, another one, and feeling like, my God, maybe something is finally shifting.
Yeah.
And, that there are movies that are right up there that are being kind of talked about for the Oscars, that are being directed by women. You go, my God, okay, maybe there's finally a change. It seems as if something positive is happening, but God, we've got to keep pushing, that's for sure.
Well, this would be an Oscar contender for me, so I loved it, and it's the type of story I like to see. So I will champion it as much as I can. Well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for your time, and I love
Thank
this
you.
movie.
Thank you, Veronica. Cheers. Thanks.
Yeah.